Oh, hi there, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Dylan James Weaver, but most folks around here just call me Dylan. Why don't you get the whole family together and join us for another exciting Wad Fam Chalk Pod? Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are joined this week by a returning guest. He was previously here to cover The Chosen One. It's
Arthur.
That's it.
Arthur Woods.
Arthur C. Arthur Do.
I dropped my last name. I meant to tell you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just one
Just
name
Arthur,
now?
like
Okay.
Cher or Bono or, you know,
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
There are a lot. It seems to really proliferate in the musician realm more than anywhere else.
And I think more
where
than
I feel
anything.
like you get one of those one names.
Right. And I certainly consider myself a musician, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, you have to.
I have to.
I mean, have you seen him play the guitar?
Oh, that's scary. I own a guitar.
Yeah.
I do
I
own
know.
a guitar and a trumpet and a piano and drums, and I don't play any of them.
How did you get them?
Over the year, I acquire things.
You
Okay.
did.
Over the years.
Okay.
You
Not
did
the year.
play the trumpet at one point, though. Am I
When
correct?
I was in middle school and high school, I was a trumpeteer.
Oh.
That's
noblest
not
of
political.
callings.
That's not a political comment.
It was just a hobby,
He
okay?
was really ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yep.
We'll
Be back next week.
That's been the show. No, we're here because it's guest season, and I reached out to Arthur and was like, "Hey, would love to have you back on the pod." Unfortunately, there's no really good Kelly episodes anymore. You want to cover one anyways? And what did you say?
Yes.
Well, I was like, I mean, if the price is right, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm actually excited to be back. This episode's maybe not quite as good as some of the other Kelly episodes, but I like Kelly. She does make me laugh in this episode.
Well, hey, there. I mean, what more could you ask for?
I can't ask of anything more from Kelly.
The episode in question is number 614, Best of Enemies. This episode first aired April 28th of 2007, which was roughly 5 months after The Chosen One came out, so that two-parter aired. And there's a handful of episodes in between, but they're pretty close timeline-wise. Kelly only exists from album 47 until album 50. So that's
It's a shame she didn't make it.
only a couple years. Well, I mean, but nobody did.
Fair.
Like, they let, like, 3 characters make it from 50 to 51. And you can't have Kelly without having the Washingtons.
Fair.
So
Well.
they just wrote a real quick, hey, Kelly goes on an adventure and, decides to follow Jesus two-parter in the 50th album to be like, look, we're closing the loop.
So is that what we're going to be talking about in a few months?
Yeah, and
Kelly's-
we've got a couple episodes before then, but eventually...
Only if the sponsors
if,
come through.
if you,
Kelly's Journey with Jesus on a very special.
So you don't have to worry about her anymore.
Yeah, that's a complete arc. Is you have a traumatic upbringing.
Yep.
You get placed into foster care.
Yep.
You meet Jesus.
Yep. Then you're fine.
Right.
You actually can't have any more problems.
All
after
the
that.
trauma goes away. Yep.
That's what I found. That's what the science shows.
That's what the song shows.
And then the other thing of note. So we talked when we covered The Chosen One about it was written and directed by Marshall Younger, who is a standard writer on the show, but who fosters children and has at least one adopted child and has some close ties to this. And so he comes back to direct this episode, but the writing credit goes to Sherry Van Truren, who is only credited to this episode and was an intern with Adventures in Odyssey at the time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I listened to that interview that you're referencing, and I thought, well, that was very cool to have an internship where they actually say, "Hey, write an episode."
Yeah.
Right. You get...
And then air it. Like, you write an episode or whatever, but, like, to be a part of that process and then get to see and hear the finished product, I think is pretty unique.
Yeah, the other thing that was interesting in that interview is her talking about, like, well, and, like, obviously we have an intern in this episode, which I don't think is a thing that's happened otherwise in Odyssey.
Right.
So that felt very self-inserty. And she talks about, like, that she wrote this episode because of, like, some of her own roommate experiences. And then because Odyssey was doing stuff with Kelly, they decided to make that, like, the flip side of the episode, which is where all of the, like, if there is meat in this episode, it's on the Kelly side of things.
Yeah. Except for between Connie, we're gonna get the nice off. We're just gonna be nice to each other.
It is, yeah.
It's a great plot.
It's
great idea.
Yeah, I thought the nice off was a little annoying. And I know, Dylan, you don't watch The Office. I don't know if you do.
I do.
Okay, but there's an episode in The Office where Andy Bernard and Dwight Schrute are having a nice off.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, and it just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Just
This is
I'm gonna win.
Well, and we can get into it when we actually dig into the episode itself, but it is a very sitcom-y episode.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to say off the top? I'll roll the promo. If not,
Sounds beautiful.
Have you ever heard of the phrase oil and water don't mix? Well, if Connie is the water, then her new roommate Lindsay is a jumbo can of 10W30. Connie can't stand her, and Tamika and her new roommate Kelly aren't doing much better in the getting along department either. Have you ever heard of an air freshener war? Oh, you will after you listen to the next adventure in Odyssey.
Jumbo can of 10W30
You
was
are.
my nickname in high school.
Not just Jumbo Can.
No.
Jumbo Can at 10W30.
Yeah. Very important.
a joke that no child will understand.
Yeah, what? Also, have you ever heard of an air freshener war? I feel like it's in the name. Like, there's not much more to explain than that.
That's the kind of promo that makes me happy that we talk
Talk
about
the promos. Yeah. None of this new professional shenanigans where they just give basic information and have structure.
Yeah.
I want to hear hypothetical questions being asked and answered.
Look, if you didn't hear the episode itself, you heard it there. It's all about dysfunctional roommates.
Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's probably a pertinent topic for children, right?
Yeah.
A lot of children hate their roommates.
Yeah. They don't pay the rent.
Yeah.
I mean, like from a high level, I do. I guess this is why it feels so weird knowing that it came first as Connie gets a wacky roommate and then went to the Kelly, because it does feel like there's interesting ground to be covered in Kelly adjusts to living at the Washingtons, and Tamika
Right.
has to deal with that.
And it's
but they
not
don't
the
care
episode.
about that.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but basically when you're the intern writing an episode that's clearly about yourself,
Right.
you make yourself the star.
Yeah, well, and then you also get, Marshall Younger as director, and I assume, like, ghostwriter / like
think so.
mentor.
Yeah,
like,
editor.
Like, I mean, it's great that she gets the credit, and I don't want to, like, diminish Sherry's contributions here, but
We all know Sherry wrote the Connie Lindsay storyline.
Yeah.
right, it does feel like a tale of two
Yeah.
writers. Yeah. So
Poor Lindsay.
I will say,
Horrible.
Yeah.
Lindsay's horrible.
Very smelly. Like, I can't imagine.
Can't live with her.
Scented body glitter. That one's new.
it maybe the thing that no, I don't want to. That might be too harsh. A thing this episode does well, maybe not the thing it does best, but a thing I appreciated was getting a recap at the beginning.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It had been, so long since we'd covered these episodes, like a proper year, and I was like, oh, well, thank you for telling me what it is.
Yeah, please
'Cause
remind me.
And but I do feel like the recap does the thing where it really sets up, oh, this is like going to be a Kelly episode.
Right.
And then it's not. Previously, Kelly did all this stuff, and then Connie maybe a little bit, and now Connie.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked more Kelly in this episode.
Yeah,
When
Don't
is that
say I
not-
didn't warn you.
I mean, Arthur's biased. That's his speciality.
That's my
In
speciality.
All things Kelly.
All things Kelly.
Can you get like a doctorate in just one name? Like,
Yeah. So we actually start off the episode with Kelly moving into Tamika's room, and they do it in like the sitcomiest, tropiest fashion of like Tamika gets home and is like going to her room, and her dad's like, "No, wait, I gotta talk to you about something," and she's like, "Nah, I'm gonna ditch my book bag first," and like walks into the room, and Kelly's in there smoking a cigarette or whatever, like it's just
pouring a drink, lighting her mattress on fire.
How you doing, Tamika?
Just getting comfortable.
Come on in.
That's getting dangerously close to my voice today, Arthur.
That is not how the scene went.
No, Kelly's just in there already, and Tamika's less than thrilled.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird because we had gone immediately from the review of last episode where like Tamika is all like, I think Kelly might just be really sweet on the inside. And then the beginning of this episode where she's like, oh yeah, that's right, Kelly's moving in. And then all she has to do is like open her bedroom door, and all of a sudden like she switches to like, oh, you.
Which, for
Garbage
what it's worth,
person.
might be accurate for a high school girl.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a couple more unspoken steps in there somewhere, but yeah.
But it does feel like so much of this episode from the Tamika and Kelly side is, hey, like, two people who are different but are going to live together find common ground. And it's like, we already did that plot.
Yes.
That is true.
Like, that was The Chosen One Part 2, where they, like, bonded over the piano, which is also how this episode ends.
We've got more piano bonding coming up.
Bond. Piano bond.
Piano bond.
Oh, boy.
Timely.
No time to play.
Then, on the other side of town, Wits End is getting an intern.
Because, wasn't Eugene an intern originally? Or at a certain point?
I don't
Yes, we've covered an
Okay.
episode where Eugene, he loses his internship someplace else, and then, I think it's in Blackguard, then Wit gives him an internship at Wits End.
Okay, I will believe you on that.
I don't feel comfortable with that. I need to fact check myself.
No, it's okay. Who cares? It's a 3-week internship.
Yes.
Which,
Naturally.
yeah, sure.
I mean, if it's unpaid, I'd rather it be 3 weeks than like 16, but...
But wasn't 3 weeks coincidentally also the timeline that the Washingtons gave Tamika for how long?
Yes, but then it comes in 2 weeks.
Oh.
So there's a week where we don't hear from, like, Tamika and Kelly.
Right.
But we do, but like we jump forward to Connie and Lindsay. I don't know. The timeline of this episode is not clear.
Yep.
Like it feels like every scene takes place on the same day and also like a year apart.
Yeah.
A year later.
Yeah. These are just two completely different actions.
So there's the intern's name is Lindsay. She's a Valley girl trope. And she's staying with Connie, who I think lives at home, but I'm not sure.
They did not make that clear. Like how?
Not even slightly.
It made it seem like they were just in like their own apartment
Yeah,
somewhere.
right.
Yeah.
Like how old is Connie?
At
this
point in the show, I think that she could be old enough to be in her own apartment. She's been graduated from high school for a long time. And yeah, she's definitely self-sustaining, but
And Lindsay was 17.
yeah, she
But
might still be with her mom. Yeah, Lindsay's
Yeah, it is.
a child.
The mess of Connie's age is a thing that even the writers have acknowledged. Like, yeah, it's not clear. She is referenced as most recently in a 2018 episode as being 20-something. And this episode aired 10 years prior. So
So she was like 13 in this episode.
It really puts the Kelly smoking a cigarette into perspective.
Exactly.
When she's 4.
oh man. I'm not making that up though. That was a thing in The Chosen One that Kelly was smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to like besmirch the name of Kelly, but I'm pretty sure that was canonical.
No besmirching.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question about Lindsay.
Yes.
And maybe I just missed it in the episode.
Nope.
So you don't even know what the question is. You're like, no, you did not miss it. I assure you, you didn't miss it. It was not there. All of a sudden, Walt's there with, I guess, Connie, and Lindsay pulls up with some mysterious driver who has just driven her 500 miles. I was like, hey, thanks. Like, was she hitchhiking? Was like, who was this person?
I think it's the bus driver,
but
but it does not sound like it. It does sound like it is just some random person.
So like, hippie picked her up.
Yeah.
And was like,
Yep. No, that's exactly what it sounds like because she's so buddy, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. The sounds outside aren't bus sounds,
No.
Right.
which would have been really easy.
Also, what bus would drop directly off it would send?
That's true.
Well, I mean, that
bus
is
stations.
That's the hub of town.
yeah, naturally, but
I feel like there could have been an entire episode just on Lindsay taking that 500-mile trip. Like
Yeah.
that actually
that's the
could be a
episode I
movie.
want. Yeah. No Man Land. What? I want Lindsay hitchhiking
Yeah.
to Odyssey. At the age of 17.
Lindsay is not a compelling character at all.
They don't give her anything.
They give her nothing except
Absolutely
for
nothing.
that she's like. I can't tell if she's supposed to be. I mean, like at a couple points, she is definitely supposed to be toxic positivity, but they don't seem to be committed to that idea.
No.
Like, there's no way you're allergic to peanut butter and eat pancakes and that's not toxic.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't portray her in a bad light. I don't know what we're supposed to get from Lindsay.
Well, for a while there, I thought Lindsay was like messing with Connie, like not even like she's not like just being like a jerk. Like, just kidding. I'm not actually allergic to pancakes.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh no, she's really allergic to them. Like that was dumb. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't. There's,
Oh, my throat will close up. Eats pancake.
okay, so the scene we're referencing, Connie makes peanut butter pancakes for Lindsay to be nice.
In the nice off.
Connie then tells her that they are peanut butter pancakes. Lindsay, also, for the record, the nice off is one-sided. This is just who Lindsay is. She's at no point, like, trying to compete.
Yeah.
So she's just like, oh, this person I'm staying with made me food I'm allergic to. Let me, like, scoff it down
Right.
and then inject myself with the frickin' EpiPen.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I can get to a hospital, by the way. Like, that doesn't take the problem away.
It's...
You can
It's-
breathe long enough so that you don't die.
It's bonkers. And for better or worse, Marshall Younger in the official guide has this quote about the scene, which is, there's a scene where Connie makes Lindsay pancakes with peanuts. Lindsay's allergic to them, but eats them anyway just to be nice. This was one of the funniest scenes I've ever directed. But it was met with quite a few negative letters from people saying we were making light of life-threatening allergies, and they're right.
Yeah.
Folding on the joke.
Yeah.
That's just
That's the kind of audience we got here. That's what we're working with. You can't make jokes about peanut allergies. Their suffering is real.
I love the combo of him being like, can you believe these people? They were right. And also, I thought this is the funniest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. Like, he must not be that funny.
Well,
right?
I don't know, because we talked about the previous episode we talked about was written by Marshall Younger, and he denounced it saying, people always tell me this one's funny, and I don't get it.
He doesn't think his episode is funny?
Correct. It was an episode that he wrote that he thinks is bad, and everyone else that thinks is really funny. And we also thought it was bad.
Yeah.
For the most part. But, anyways.
Wait, which episode?
Devil Made Me Do It.
Oh, okay.
The one,
yeah.
When we talked about
it is
Andrew.
bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's trying to do a thing, and it sort of does it, but it's not funny.
No.
There's like 2 chuckles. Which is more than this episode. So.
True. Yeah, no, this was... I listened to this on the way back from a doctor's appointment, and boy, it did not make time go any faster. Checking the mile counter like every 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Kelly is This is a hard episode to talk about because I'm like, I don't know. I want to talk about the Kelly stuff because Arthur's here. There's just nothing there.
Well, and the thing is, they don't give Kelly airtime to process it because, like, obviously she is
Kelly,
upset.
Right. It's all through the lens of Tamika.
Yeah. Which is great. So healthy. So productive for the child in foster care.
But there are still some funny Kelly moments. I mean, if there's any funniness in the show, it is still through
Kelly.
She's got that dark wit.
Yeah.
She's got posters up for Skeletal Maidens.
Yeah.
Her favorite band.
Favorite rock group.
Which then she's playing their music. No, she's playing music that she wrote. That's right. The playing music thing is Lindsay.
But that actually I had to listen to that a couple times. It was confusing because I first heard that and thought, well, wait, is she playing the music by that band? Or
Right.
like, what is...
Yeah.
Well, because it does not match at all. It does not sound like death metal.
No.
There's so much generic music in this episode that is like in episode music, not like the transitional music, but like this is what the characters are listening to, and it's like that's just someone like tapping the Casio keyboard a couple times.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
They tripped and fell.
So yeah, I guess the big things are the poster, and then she makes a sandwich with really gross ingredients, which they are really gross.
They are gross.
I don't remember the ingredients.
And the audio design of this scene made me want to throw the phone out the window.
That's right.
The chewing, the mouth noises.
Yeah.
She's describing this horrifically disgusting sandwich, and you can like hear her eating it, and then So I stopped it there. Haven't even heard the rest of the episode. I will not listen to this.
Well, don't worry. It only gets better after that when they start the aforementioned air freshener battle.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Which is her sandwich smells gross. So Tamika is like, I'm just going to axe bomb the room with something that smells like sugar cookies.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, buttercream frosting.
Oh, that's right.
And okay, so I might be giving the writers too much credit to be saying that there's an incredible callback that Kelly
is this
does
the
here.
one?
This is callback time. If I'm reading this joke correctly, this is genius. So in this scene, when they're having their spray off, and all of a sudden it smells like cookies, Kelly goes, "It smells like the Keebler factory in here."
Yeah.
Now fast forward like
a
few more scenes, and when they and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, but when they have this water fight and Kelly's poster, Tamika drenches Kelly's poster with water. Kelly is yelling, and she goes, "Well, who put water on my poster? The elves didn't do it." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, was that a callback to the Keebler factory?"
Yes, or at least I read it as that. So when you mentioned that you had noticed a callback, I thought you were saying from this episode to the Chosen One.
Oh, right.
But
No,
I did note
yeah.
the Keebler Elves thing.
I thought
That
that was
is really
so
funny.
perfect.
Yeah.
What,
Yes.
did the
The
elves
elves
do it?
Yeah. Yeah. So Kelly's air freshener is new leather.
Which is a herd of cows.
Herd of cows.
Which new leather I think is great, and both scents are I'm a big fan of.
But it's just like, Tamika's, a nice girl and Kelly's a mean one.
Yeah.
Scully is a skull. Like, congratulations.
Yeah.
Stereotypes.
Yeah.
They're simple.
Yeah. Back in the I don't know, is it the A plot? Whatever the Lindsay Connie thing is. Lindsay wants a puppy and instead gets a beta fish.
Yep. Kerplunk.
She
It's a
names
great
it
name.
Kerplunk.
A great name for a fish.
I mean, I agree. For what it's worth,
Can I name my cat Kerplunk? I think that would be really funny.
Sherry Van Truren, credited for writing this episode, had a goldfish named Kerplunk that she traded for an extension cord with a roommate.
Wow.
So it's kind of like she had procrastinated writing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they were like, hey, intern, that episode's due tomorrow. And she was like, oh, crap. What do I write about? And she saw her fish. And
Yeah.
she was like, Kerplunk. I'll write about Kerplunk.
He comes to me in my hour of need. The silhouette is glowing behind the fish container.
But we're going to change it so that instead of being a goldfish, it's a beta fish.
Yes.
So that we can set up,
The eating another
eating.
fish.
which, yeah, great. It is mildly funny when it first comes up. But when Connie's reading through the instructions and she's like, you gotta, like, feed it.
Yeah, that's it.
Change the water.
Change,
Yeah.
That's right. Feed it, change the water, and
Clean
don't
the
put
tank.
two of them
Yeah.
in because they will murder each other. and that's what the scene goes out on, and you're like, oh.
Okay.
I know. But
Foreshadow.
Yeah. And
I
whatever
wonder
you
what
do-
happens next.
Whatever you do, Lindsay, do not put another beta fish in here.
Exactly.
yeah.
But see, now you went
Yada
you had-
yada yada.
You had said earlier that you thought like Lindsay was genuinely nice and like she's just friendly. I don't interpret her that way. I felt like she just steamrolled over Connie in that
Oh,
episode.
yeah, no,
Like,
there's-
Connie had no say in anything. Lindsay just she wanted a fish. She and that was it. She was going to get her fish.
Yeah.
That's fair. She maybe turns a corner later, but she is definitely...
comes on strong.
Well, at this point, she's definitely like a inconsiderate roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the pet store scene. I don't... Is she past that, though?
What do you
At
mean?
the end of the show?
Like, do we see her be inconsiderate after the pet store?
See, here's the thing. I think you and I read this episode differently.
Okay.
I felt like all her niceties were just
hiding
her. Like
something.
she was just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I already did the living room, and I mopped and swept, and I
Oh,
I
okay.
made cookies, and like, there's nothing left for you to do.
They play her off, though, as ditzy,
Yeah.
which is the thing where I just
Which she's
assumed
not, other than
she's
the
just
glitter.
unaware.
She seems very
found her-
industrious.
I found her ditzy and vindictive, like
Yeah.
Vinditzy.
Because of Vinditzy.
Vinditzy. Because of Vinditzy. I found her very Vinditzy. I don't know. I might have just read into that the wrong way.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you might be right. It is not clear.
I
guess.
like so much. No, well, and me. That wasn't me, was it? No. My interpretation was that she was covering up something, and that there was going to be like an emotional breakdown by the
Yes.
end of the episode. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm here because my parents just got divorced, and Connie's like,
Exactly.
hey, my parents are divorced, things are fine. You know,
Yeah.
like that's gonna be their come to terms instead of just like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be so insecure about you being nice.
Well, it's weird, too, because Whit sets it up at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where he's like, where he's like, Connie, you should take this person under her wings.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen her in a long
Show her
time,
how to
but I
use
like
universal
know
remotes.
her. But I've known her for a long time. I've known her family, and be a good friend to her. She needs it right now, which does feel like it is setting up for something that does not occur.
Right.
Nope. They yeah.
Yeah.
And, now, Andrew, you mentioned Lindsay's inability to use a universal remote. There's no way Connie should have thought that Lindsay could use a universal remote when she could not figure out the extension cord to plug her CD player in. She's like, I'm not very technical. I'm like, it's a power supply that plugs into the wall. Like, what? You're not technical.
It's shapes in shapes. Like
It's just that block game when you're a child, but there's power.
Just plug it in. Your CD player will work. It's not technical.
Well, and it's not like the cord is very distinct looking. There
Yes.
is no accidentally putting it in the wrong,
It's bright orange.
Yeah.
It is.
and enormous.
And then Connie's surprised that she can't use a universal remote.
Yeah.
She can't plug in a CD player. Here, let me help you with that.
And she proceeds to press like 3 buttons when it's clearly just like an input is, like oh, okay. Yeah. I've helped my grandparents with that plenty of times.
Yeah, the universal remote set to VCR, and she needs it to be set to TV. Mm-hmm. We've all been there, unless you are considerably younger than us, in which case...
what's a VCR?
Yeah, are universal remotes even relevant anymore? I don't know.
Not to really young people. Like,
because I'm just like...
Not to like
just...
babies and infants. Like that.
Well, I'm just
They don't care.
Really.
Toddlers don't care.
It's been a while since I've used like a universal remote because everything's just like...
Pretty
it's built into the into the TV.
It's like your Roku remote or something.
Yeah. No, they I only with like multimedia entertainment systems I think is really
which doesn't seem to be Connie's setup here. Regardless,
wish it was though.
Our 2 storylines crisscross in the middle of this episode when Tamika is sitting at the ice cream counter at Wit's End venting to Connie about how bad Kelly is, while Connie seethes on the inside about how great Lindsay is and how much that's ruining her life. Because Lindsay just made an ice cream ladybug and all the kids love her.
Yeah.
I don't think they would love her. Lindsay made an ice cream ladybug. There's about 4,000 kids desperately trying to get it. And Lindsay's like, here you go, and gives it to like 1 kid.
Yep.
So like 3,999 kids did not get ice cream
But
from
then
Lindsay.
Wit says, hey, go do a thing upstairs. And she's like, all right, kids, come along. And they do.
Who wants to come with? You'll get an ice cream lion.
Right. She
One
bribed them
child.
with more
She
ice
doesn't-
cream.
She says like, I'll make an ice cream lion. It's not even like you'll get one. It's like you can see how cool it looks.
See it. Yeah. Maybe I'll give it to one of you.
Yeah.
I mean,
But even the
mentality,
Wit asks her to go clean up the small stage, and I know anytime I need to clean something, the first thing I think is, let's bring 4,000 little kids with me. That'll help. That's gonna help.
Let's bring an entire 3rd grade birthday party along. They'll really
That'll
get it
clean
done.
it up much faster.
We're gonna enchanted this and just whistle while we work until it's done.
And while I'm cleaning, I'm also making ice cream.
Yes. Oh yeah. Naturally.
That's helpful.
Well, she's very skilled.
Yeah, I guess.
Uses the ammonia to eat away, make the eyes.
Yeah. And then we get the scene that smacks of intern writing an audio-only medium for the first time, which is Connie monologuing to herself extensively behind the counter.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm just like, it has to happen in the show. It doesn't usually go on this long. And it was just one of those where I was like, oh, yeah, right. How do you communicate someone's, frustrations when they don't want to share them with anyone?
Right.
And it's,
Speak out loud.
Yep. So she's like, I'm going to out nice Lindsay.
There.
Because that's the problem here, is that Lindsay's so nice, and I wish I could just be nice like her. And I'm like, I don't understand what led you to this conclusion.
Well, I also don't understand, like, why is this a problem? Like, if you've ever had a roommate and someone's like, you know, you're like complaining about your roommate and you're just like, yeah, you know, he's just too nice.
Like what?
He cleans the house.
Yeah.
He's I don't
just
know.
the
He
worst,
just does a lot for me. And
Yeah, where it's like she does have genuine reason for concern when, you know, she was steamrolled into buying Kerplunk.
Right.
Like, there's precedent there where, like, Connie does have valid reason, especially at this point in the episode, to be frustrated with Lindsay. But, she doesn't share that. She also isn't great with Tamika, where I don't feel like she gives, like,
good advice.
Like, she doesn't do the, I'm behind the ice cream counter and an adult, so I'm going to give you some words of wisdom here. Mm-hmm. She's just kind of like, oh, yeah, your life does sound bad. Mine's bad, too. Yeah. See ya. Like...
Yeah, I think at one point early in that conversation when Connie was complaining, I think Tamika was like, maybe you should just be nicer to her.
Yeah.
I would be like, girl, what?
Yeah.
So,
Tell me be nicer.
Right.
Lindsay's character is the balance between, like, is she supposed to be dumb blonde or overly nice, or like they don't want to give her
hiding.
Yeah, exactly. What is she hiding? And also, like, how can she be dumb and ditzy and also overly competent and making you feel insecure? Like, it's typically, at least in my experience, one or the other in those instances.
Yeah.
It's her ditziness coming out.
That's exactly.
That's all it is. She's being ditzy.
Hey, but we get another, you know, exciting scene with a water balloon fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where Tamika walks in on Kelly having a water balloon fight out the window with some neighbors, and she pulls the whole, like, oh, well, I've got the high ground, tactical advantage. Great idea, by the way.
It's like Star Wars.
Yeah, yes.
The high ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I wrote that down, too, where I
well.
was just immediately like, Star Wars, and then I was like, Gilmore Girls talking about Star Wars.
Yep, it's beautiful. And then, obviously, Tamika's upset by that because water balloons coming in, and so it escalates.
Yeah.
And,
one lands on her bed, and then she throws one on
Tamika's bed. I'm sorry,
onto Kelly's bed, and then throws one at her poster.
I thought that was actually over the top.
Yeah, those posters are
her posters. Yeah.
Oh, it
ruined.
was. I mean, her whole response was over the top.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, Kelly was not being receptive to anything she was saying. On the other hand, yeah, Tamika could have handled that way better.
Yeah.
She could have shut the window. Like, that's a pretty just...
I thought it was funny that at one point Kelly was at least pretending to defend Tamika because the boys threw the water on Tamika's bed.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you just got Tamika's bed wet. You guys are in big, big trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you're going to pay for it now.
Pay for that. Yeah. It's like, well, and the fact that Ed walks into this scene like a minute later, where it's like, oh, he was just around?
Oh, right.
Like,
She's like, that would sound like normal water balloon noises.
Well,
just an
or
average
just like
Wednesday.
Tamika, stick your head out the door and go, Dad, get over here, please.
Yeah, I would have liked the scene if, like, when Ed walked in, he just got smacked in the face by a water balloon.
Yeah.
Keller!
Yeah.
Well, then we have to get the 3-minute montage of him just assaulting the neighborhood children with water balloons from the window. Just American Sniper, chuck him down, and then the conversation happens.
Yeah. The water balloon fight was sound recorded of a snowball fight at the Focus on the Family headquarters. So
I would have to re-listen to it, but that doesn't sound like those make the same sound.
I think the kid commotion was snowball fight, and there was water sound effects added later.
Okay. I was gonna say, it didn't sound like a snowball fight.
Yeah. What's the? I don't even know. Just in your experience, Arthur, do you make anything of Kelly's actions in this episode? Like, is there any depth there, or is it just, sitcom hijinks?
Yeah, I think in the first 2 episodes where they introduced Kelly, I do think they were trying to go a little deeper and kind of explain kind of the life of a foster care child and some of the struggles that he or she might have. This one just felt more like just, Kelly having fun. And sure, there's some stuff in her background that would lead her to maybe not quite treat the property with the respect that she should. Like, there's, so sure I'm sure you could point some of her behaviors back to that. But for the most part, it just seemed kind of like a young, immature girl just wanting to have fun. And, and she made me laugh when she's in that. She makes me laugh when she's in that mode.
Yeah. She's
Well,
really funny.
There you go.
We talked about it earlier, but when she said, "Well, who got my poster wet? The elves didn't do it."
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's the greatest joke I've ever heard in my life. Like, Tamika, you just got burned.
Yeah. You were served and then spiked.
Yep.
And then I will say a good comedic beat here is Ed saying, "Well, if both of your beds are wet, you guys are just gonna have to share the fold-out couch," and it does the dun dun dun.
Right.
Yeah.
And
though
the
they
commercial
start
break, and that
complaining,
was fun. I was just like, all right, I like that we set up the fold-out couch as not an option earlier, which is why Kelly's sleeping in Tamika's bedroom, and then we bring it back here to be like,
Now you're both on it.
now you're both on it.
I would rather sleep on a floor than a uncomfortable pull-out couch. Because those bars in your back, I just can't deal. I wake up
They
in
are
like,
horrible.
visceral pain.
They are horrible. Absolutely horrible.
I've slept on some good floors in my
Yeah,
day.
right? If they've got a carpeted floor, that's better? With pillow and blankets?
The real play is like a bed mat. But
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
that was out of the question here
naturally.
because 2 water balloons soaked the beds beyond repair.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can't throw the sheets in the dryer.
No. they're
It
made of
soaked
gold.
the bed. If you pay us money, we'll do this as an experiment, listeners. We will drop a water balloon on Andrew's bed, and then we will take the sheets off and see if the bed itself is dry.
Actually, I do have a mattress protector on my bed, which apparently didn't exist at this point in time. I don't know what.
Yeah, rule 1 of kids,
2007
mattress protector.
Yeah. That's awfully late for these children to not have alternatives.
Those are usually on the bed for people that pee the bed, though.
Well, I mean that's why I got it, but
I was like, let's unpack this a little bit. Why do you have a mattress protector?
my
To
grandmother
protect the mattress,
Right.
Arthur.
from my pee.
Yeah. This is where we jump back across town and Lindsay has bought a friend for Kerplunk
Yup.
and Connie loses it.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the 4 instructions, I definitely empathize with Connie here being like, you didn't read the information on buying this one that said don't put it in a tank with another fish? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it is right. It is that thing where it's like her ignorance is frustrating. And we also have the remote scene. These happen like back to back. And as someone who works in a customer service industry with electronics, there are few things that I am more frustrated with than people not being sympathetic when
Yeah.
people can't use technology.
yeah.
Like, that really gets under my skin because there's such a, like, stigma around IT professionals about them just, like, dunking on everyone who can't use it and being unapproachable. And I work really hard in my day-to-day to, you know, not do that. That being said, Connie's totally justified here.
Yeah. I mean, she did show her twice.
Obviously there's stuff going on here below the surface. It's not just Connie being like...
But maybe write it down? Like, I don't know. It's really like 3 steps max.
Yeah.
You could write it down.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing with Lindsay, I still keep interpreting her more as like vindictive, like she intentionally put the fish together.
Yeah.
Like she didn't care, or she wanted to tick Connie off, or she just
Waiting
wanted to
for
see
Connie
them
to get
fight
home.
to the. I mean, if I saw instructions that said your fish will literally fight to the death, I would put those fish together.
I mean, there is some curiosity.
There is curiosity. I've seen hamsters eat their babies. I've never seen fish eat their fish.
Yeah. Do we want to unpack that at all, or just move on?
I had a couple hamsters once, and apparently one was a boy and one was a girl, because one of them got pregnant. We didn't know that this hamster was pregnant, and so all of a sudden there were little baby hamsters. and then all of a sudden, the mama hamster just picked up her baby hamsters and just started eating the baby hamsters. And my mom was screaming, my sister was screaming, I couldn't stop watching it. So I kind of feel like that's what Lindsay was doing. She just wanted to see fish eat fish.
I mean, that makes the hamster thing is a very vivid image.
It's very vivid. You haven't lived till you've seen a mama hamster pick up her baby hamster and just eat its head off. That's exactly what happened.
This is the circle of life.
Oh man. Wow. Well, this is what you come to the podcast for, right, guys?
Is it still considered cannibalism if it's hamsters?
Hamsterism.
Hamsterism.
I think it is.
Okay. All right.
Wow. All right. So you're gonna go out and buy 2 beta fish, Arthur? Is that
I
what I'm
might.
hearing?
Just if they're really going to eat each other, I will.
They will.
Watch that.
I had a beta fish growing up, or like my family did. They're pretty. We just had one.
And well, beta fish will eat other fish too. Like they'll
Sharks.
They should be called alpha fish.
Yes. Yeah. They go after like bigger fish though too. It's I've seen beta fish eat other fish before because my sister had fish. And that's not so bad because there's just kind of flecks of fish floating around and eventually, get it out. That's fine.
Right.
And there's no connection, just nature, threat to the environment. I can't get over this hamster thing, Arthur. How do you sleep at night?
That wasn't the worst part. Then after that, my brother ate the hamster.
And then your mother ate your brother.
My mother then ate my brother. It was the most traumatic night of my life.
It's nice. Some nice Russian nesting doll stuff right there.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. So
This is the plot of the new Jordan Peele horror movie.
Oh my word. So back on the fold-out couch.
Yep.
Tamika finds a donut, and Kelly is scared of thunder.
Yep. And bonds.
So they decide to team up and make music together. I mean, what else is there? That's the entire
That's what
scene,
they got.
right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, man, this couch is uncomfortable. Look, there's a donut. Oh no, thunder's bad and scary. This is a song I sang, but I don't know how to write this song. I know how to write this song.
I can play by ear.
Yeah.
But that was another example of like that generic music because she was just like and then Kelly's just like, that's such a beautiful song. What? That wasn't I said like 3 notes. I hummed 3 notes.
Yeah. You might have mumbled something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Did you write that? Oh yes, Kelly, I did.
Have you thought about doing it professionally?
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting recording time isn't that much.
Let's hear that again.
Yeah.
Wow, that was better the second time. Good job.
Yeah. Then what? We get the scene where
Connie talks to Wiz.
no, actually I guess oh no, that is later. All right, it doesn't matter. Who cares about order? Yeah, the next scene is Connie and Wit though, where Connie goes to Wit and vents, and he's like, "Look, like, you know,
Pretty solid advice.
we should try to live at peace with everyone as much as we can. That's in the Bible, so do that. But also try and view people as God does, so that you can love them unconditionally." And I was like, all right.
That's excellent advice.
This is not what I was expecting from this episode. Doesn't super tie into the other stuff fantastically, but there's a thread there.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to that as a child, I'll co-sign that. Mm-hmm. Like, good advice.
Good moral. Well, yeah, works for me.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I did like that they picked up on the verse that says, "If it is possible, live with him." Well, so if it's not possible, I don't have to be nice.
Yeah, yes.
Well, of course not, silly.
When they need to recast Wit again, inevitably, I am gonna nominate Arthur Woods.
Well, thank you, Dylan.
Let me tell you about this one time my hamsters hate each other.
Have I told you the hamster story?
Come up to the Bible room. I'll tell you about the time my hamsters hate each other.
Hey, the Bible room doesn't have hamsters, but it might have 3 sheep.
One's a goat.
Oh man.
Yeah, they apologize to each other up at the Noah's Ark exhibit, where Connie just like, I shouldn't be so. I don't know. What is there anything here like?
Well, so
like they have an interaction and it seems pleasant, like it's the note to end it on, but I don't feel like stuff is really like, it's just kind of Connie, because it was all in Connie's head, or Lindsay's evil and doesn't own up to it.
Right.
Yes.
It's one or the other.
That's
and
exactly
either
what
way,
it is.
this isn't
And it,
like
we don't-
clear.
I
don't
think
know.
Lindsay's evil.
I think Lindsay's clearly evil. But I think that might go back to the problem with the episode is either one of these storylines could have been the A storyline by itself, like, or even just the only storyline by itself. So we don't get any deeper into Kelly. We don't get any deeper into Lindsay. And I do think there's more to Lindsay than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Well, and the stuff with Kelly, like, we talked about it, I think, when we were covering The Chosen One, where the first episode is very much through Kelly's eyes, and then the second episode is more through the family's eyes.
Yes.
And that is such a bummer that framing continues, because it doesn't make Kelly a sympathetic or deep character. It makes her this thing that is affecting the main characters of the show.
Yeah.
Which I don't think, if I was listening to this as a foster kid, would feel good.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I think that framing undercuts I think having a child in the show who is in foster care is really cool, but I think making her this constant point of tension for all the other characters and never getting to see it through her eyes, aside from that first episode, really undercuts that.
I didn't think about it that way, but now that you said it, I agree.
Yeah, no,
I do.
They
Yeah.
they definitely kind of undercut the.
Well, it's just like if you're watching, or if you're listening to this, and you're like, oh, here's the character that represents me, and everyone else just has to learn to put up with me.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no, there's got to be some sympathy, and this would be ideally the episode where they develop that sympathy. Like, in an A-B plot, we get to see a lot of Kelly. We get to see, Lindsay as well. And that doesn't happen here. And I would think that with somebody like Penny, like a new character that gets incorporated fairly well, we get a lot of Penny and Wooten doing stuff together in like a way that validates Penny as an independent character.
Right. There is like Kelly is having her own episode here. Mm-hmm. She's like Tamika keeps walking into the middle of Kelly doing other stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Like there is like Kelly. It's not like Kelly's just like sitting around or only doing stuff when Tamika's there. It's like she's got her own stuff going on. But we only ever see it through the eyes of someone who is frustrated they have to deal with her.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
But I think I would say that the episode's actually not about Kelly. Of the 4 main stars of this episode,
no,
100%.
Kelly's easily number 4.
Yeah, no, it's Connie and Tamika. And then Lindsay.
Yeah, and then Lindsay.
It's like Connie, Tamika, Lindsay, Kelly.
Yeah.
And Whit and Ed are just there for support.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Connie and Lindsay kind of have their like, hey, we make peace with each other, and then Lindsay's like, I also brought along some unicorns for the Noah's Ark display.
That's right.
And that's the button. Because apparently she's really into that one verse in Isaiah in the King James, that references unicorns. The true nerds know what I'm talking about, right? Right? No? Wow. Okay, neither of the people in the room. You know what? Someone tweet at me some validation, because this is a thing.
Unicorns in the Bible.
I was not taught about unicorns in Bible college.
Yeah, I'm in Bible college right now and didn't hear it. It has been translated as... I don't know how to say it in the Hebrew.
Don't.
Arthur? Would you care? This is the top text.
Oh, the ream.
Yeah. The ream, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's been translated as unicorn in the King James version.
Yeah, it's in Isaiah, right?
All right, well, there you
Look
go.
at that.
If it's in the King James, it's...
legit.
If it's good enough for Paul, it's good enough for us.
He really did it.
Paul wrote the King James Bible. I believe is the context of that joke.
Yep, that's canonical.
That's what I learned in Bible college.
That's what I learned.
Back with the Washingtons.
And the ESV, actually. He's been alive for quite some time.
Oh, wow. Who wrote the message?
Satan.
The devil.
The devil. Only the devil paraphrases.
Here I was thinking it was Bono.
Wow.
He wrote the foreword to the devil's masterpiece.
Oh, bad.
Also the Book of Psalms.
You whiny. Seems like I don't have the emotions for this, bro.
The furniture has arrived early, so their 3-week stay gets converted to 2 weeks, but it doesn't matter because they're in the middle of writing a song, so they're gonna deal with that later.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Oh, look at
that. That's amazing.
Was that
so?
Did you write that?
Is that? It sounds like
you wrote that, didn't you?
It's like Mozart, but better.
We have got to record that.
It's some raw talent there.
And then we go out on an exchange where Lindsay's leaving and is like, oh no, I accidentally packed the power strip. And Connie's like, oh, well, you can keep it. That's all right. And Kelly's like,
she totally stole that power strip.
I'm only going to keep it if you take Kerplunk. So here, let me burden you with this pet while I leave with your piece of electrical equipment that I don't know how to use.
Lindsay doesn't even know how to use.
Yeah.
She also doesn't know how to take care of Kerplunk. So
yeah. I mean, Kerplunk is in better hands with Connie, undoubtedly. However, she totally meant to steal that extension cord.
Yeah.
She plugged it in. She experienced the wonder of extended cords, and,
The wonder of extended cords.
and it was over.
Okay, and what happened to the other beta fish? The unnamed aggressive one that was going to kill Kerplunk? Did they return her? Did they flush it down the toilet? Is he in another bowl and Connie's got two beta fish in separate bowls? What's
Staring
happening
at
here?
each other.
The way I interpreted it is that we are talking about a toilet bowl situation here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. The Arthur interpretation is law.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the 2007 was a different time for fish rights. We could just flush them at will.
Back then you could.
Yeah. It was
All
just- it was a
drains lead
different-
to the ocean.
It's true.
I don't know what else to talk about here. That's the episode. Do we have closing thoughts, feelings, stuff we didn't get into that we really want to?
Like that doesn't exist in this episode.
Yeah. I can lob you one of the discussion questions if that is of interest, because they do release official discussion questions for the episodes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I think the way Wit wrapped it up is really, that's kind of in theory the point of the story. Like if you went into it hoping, like I did, for more of a like Kelly centric story or something deeper, like she's just a kind of a minor character in this. But I am looking forward to her journey to Jesus.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
We will.
The safest end.
Yeah. We can talk about that. In some future. We've got 4 more Kelly episodes.
Four more and then the two-parter, or
No, 4 more,
2
including the
and then
2-parter.
Oh, okay.
So, not a lot left, but we're
she's
gonna
gotta get cracking.
suck this bone dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, really get the marrow out of it.
Good for the heart.
So, yeah.
I like how you originally invited me on because I was like, I'm the expert on foster care and adoption. Now I'm just the expert on Kelly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
for
there's
what
this
it's worth,
random character named Kelly that
Yeah.
I would like to reiterate, I did pitch you, hey, we can talk about literally anything. There's more like adoption foster care stuff that's not Kelly, but if you would like to continue the Kelly arc, yeah, there are some other episodes we could talk about.
I like Kelly. She makes me laugh.
Yeah, no,
all right.
I'm okay with
so,
it.
What's
It's a good era of the
elves?
show.
There we go. Kelly expert
elves
Arthur
didn't do it.
Woods. So beyond just being the world-renowned expert on Kelly, no last name from Adventures in Odyssey.
Is it just this Kelly, or is it all Kellys in general?
It's just this Kelly.
Okay, just this Kelly. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Beyond that, what do you do out in the world, Arthur, that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, honestly, that's it. It really is just
Just
call
Kelly
all the
time.
time. That's just really all it is. No, I do.
Live, laugh, Kelly.
That's exactly what it is. I'm writing a book about her journey.
It's called Kelly's Journey.
Kelly's journey to Jesus.
By Arthur, no
By
last
Arthur,
name.
no last name. Yeah. Yeah, I do life coaching for teenagers, middle school, and high school students, and just help them with whatever they need. Something at school, at home, at work, at church, relational stuff, whatever they really need. So if that is of interest to anyone listening, check me out at arthurcwoodscoaching.com.
And
Log
there will be
on
a-
today.
Yes.
There will be a link in the description as always.
Oh.
Beautiful.
All right, cool. Well, with all that being said, we will return in a week to talk about a different episode with a different guest. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. Follow the podcast at Wadfam Chalk Pod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Best of Enemies was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, with special guest Arthur Woods. It was edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick. hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.